EVERHART by Wayman Dodd. Teaser. Exterior Chicago, night. The skyline cuts neatly through the night sky, and behind the city, a glittering backdrop of suburbs stretches on forever. The choppy waters of Lake Michigan, more reminiscent of a small sea in size than a lake, slap against the walled shoreline of the mostly empty pier where the Ferris wheel's lights are still on. It's all pretty in the dark from afar. Some 10 miles out, a man's dead body topples into the water with a splash. It sinks down into the black water. The silhouette of a man in a motorboat holds his hand out over the lake. In his palm sits a delicate hourglass engraved with a myriad of tiny sigils that gleam unnaturally in the moonlight. He crushes the hourglass in his fist. Luminescent sand and blood twine together and drip into the water. More sand than there was in the hourglass. The glowing trail weaves through the water and coils around the sinking body, illuminating it. He's a large man who's been shot through the head, and he's missing all his teeth. The sand tightens, the water around the body spins and churns, decomposing in seconds what would naturally take years. The glowing sand fades into nothing, leaving little more than a skeleton sinking into the gloom. Interior restaurant, Hyde Park, night. A decent restaurant, completely empty except for 6 casually dressed, armed men and women, 20s to 30s, street gangsters growing into organized crime. Robin Pierce, 45, black, tense, sits at a table like it's her throne. Victor EVERHART, 59, powerful but tired, the only one wearing gloves, stands in front of her, flanked by Orville EVERHART, 34, steady and thoughtful, Victor's nephew, and Neil EVERHART, 32, on edge, Victor's son.
We made a truce and your man decides to break it? I have half a mind to have you shot the moment you step out that door.
Orville keeps a watchful eye on the room, not reacting, but Neil's offended.
Watch it.
Victor shuts his son up with a look. Victor starts taking off his gloves. The whole room freezes, gazes drawn to his physically normal hands. Victor seems to pay it no mind. He digs through his pockets.
Where did I put those? It's the years. They're getting to me. Ah.
He finds what he's looking for in an inner pocket of his coat and spreads them across the table with a rattle. Washed clean human teeth. One of the canines is gold. Robin stares at them, surprised. Victor's attitude sobers.
I wasn't going to let you do it, but I've enjoyed the peace, Robin, and I have no desire to start a war as an old man.
Victor puts his gloves back on, and the whole room seems to sigh inwardly with relief. Robin's gaze flicks to his gloves.
I'd hate to start a war with you too, EVERHART. Let me show you to the door.
Robin gets up with a tight smile. Exterior nightclub, night. Pounding EDM, a busy, popular nightclub. Silvia, 19, Latina, outgoing, ready to take on the world, stands in line with her 5 freshman friends. She and Pauline, 19, caring and timid, each swallow down an ecstasy pill. Pauline stares nervously at the bouncer as he checks IDs.
Come on, straighten out of that slouch. There we go. Act like you belong here. We're gonna dance. It'll be exciting. You'll do fine.
Pauline relaxes a tiny bit. Sylvia and her friends come up to the bouncer. 3 of the freshmen make it past him, then Sylvia does, and then it's Pauline's time to make it through. He looks at her suspiciously. She looks back expectantly. He lets her through with a nod. Interior nightclub, continuous. The girls head into the club. Sylvia and Pauline fist bump. Exterior restaurant, Hyde Park, night. Victor and Neil climb into a Buick. A driver holds the door open for them. Orville climbs into a BMW. Interior, exterior, Buick. Hyde Park, night. Victor and Neil's car drives northward. Orville follows behind them.
Son, next time someone threatens me, try not to seem so threatened.
Unhappy with the reprimand, Neil glances back at Orville's car.
They should respect you too much to threaten you.
A telephone pole crashes to the ground in front of Orville's car, separating the 2 cars from each other, and Victor's Buick accelerates with a growl, speeding up the street, away from Orville.
Erickson, what the hell?
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what's happening.
Neil, stop the car.
Neil's already got his hand on the door. Electricity sparks from his fingertips, coursing up the car toward the engine.
I'm trying.
The car screeches as it does an almost right-angle turn into an alley, the back end fishtailing. Neil tightens his grip on the door, the electricity from his fingertips making the car stop.
I can't get it to move again.
Silence. Neil and Victor share a glance. Neil pulls out his gun and eases the car door open. Victor peels off his gloves. Interior nightclub, night. Silvia dances in the center of her friends, a natural extrovert. An unwelcome guy, 25, grinds against Pauline, who tries to step away from him. He doesn't take the hint and follows, freaking Pauline out. Silvia inserts herself between the two and dances with Pauline, ignoring the guy. Pre-lap, a gunshot. Interior exterior, Buick. Hyde Park, night. A bullet through the windshield nails the driver in the head. Neil stands outside, aiming his gun at the upper level of an apartment building, where the bullet might have come from.
Get down!
A glint in the apartment window. Neil ducks behind the car door. Bang. Interior, nightclub, night. Silvia stumbles with a gasp, hunching over and clutching at her chest as if she were the one just shot. There's no blood or gunshot wound, but she feels like there should be. Match cut to interior, exterior, Buick. Hyde Park, night. Victor clutches at his chest. He's wearing a bulletproof vest, but the bullet's gone right through it. He scrabbles at the vest bindings, wheezing. Bang, bang. Bullets from the window. Terrified, Neil watches them hit Victor.
Dad!
Intercut with Silvia at the club. In the club, Silvia crashes to the floor, clawing at her chest where Victor was shot, choking on air. Clubgoers scream and scatter around her, gathering around her in a full circle.
Sylvia!
Pauline kneels at her side, hands hovering over Silvia. Pauline has no idea what to do. In the car, Neil puts pressure on the bullet wounds with his jacket, but the blood bleeds through. Blood bubbles out of Victor's throat, and he slumps into Neil, dead. In the club, Silvia falls unconscious, not breathing. End teaser. Act 1. Interior, exterior, Buick Alley. Hyde Park, night. Moments after Victor's death. Orville's BMW skids to a stop in the alley. Panicking, Orville climbs out and sprints over to Neil and Victor's car, still parked in the alley. Neil, shot in the thigh, clutches Victor's body, numb with shock. Orville stares down at Neil and Victor for a moment, taking it in. He checks Victor's pulse. Nothing.
Jesus. Oh, shit. Oh.
Orville's used to death, but this still hurts. It takes him a moment to get a hold of himself.
What happened?
Neil shakes his head, choked up.
Neil, you gotta tell me.
We were ambushed. They took control of the car and they shot him. They just fucking shot him. I can't believe I let them get control of the car. How could I? I didn't even see who it was. Shit! Shit!
Neil's noticeably shaken, drawing his bloody hands down his face. Sirens in the distance. Orville watches the surroundings warily, tugs Neil out of the car and away from Victor.
Come on.
But my father...
We have to get you out of here before they come back and finish the job. Or the cops show up. We'll let talent regulations handle the cleanup.
Neil's limping from his lead wound.
You want to leave my father to the tree huggers?
For once, we're the victims. So, let's use them while we can.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and you're in shock. Show me your leg.
Neil tries to hide a frown, torn between playing the victim and taking control. The former wins, and Neil lets Orville place his glowing palm on his wound. The torn skin seals shut.
All right.
Neil climbs into the passenger seat. As Orville walks to the driver's side, he pulls out his phone and dials a number. Gets a voicemail right away.
You have reached the communications office of U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
Orville dials a 2-digit extension as he gets into the driver's seat. Interior, exterior, Orville's BMW, Hyde Park, night. Orville pulls out of the alley, cautious gaze flicking everywhere. The other end of the line rings. A woman, Dominique, 50s, answers.
National talent regulations.
The Reaper's dead.
Where?
No one's shooting at them, but Orville slams on the accelerator and speeds out of there just in case. Interior, exterior, ambulance, Chicago, night. 2 EMTs try to bring Silvia back to life. An electrocardiogram, ECG, shows no heartbeat. 1 EMT uses the defibrillator on her. Her body jolts, but nothing helps. The 2 EMTs share a grim look.
EMS has exceeded 15 minutes. Time of death, 12:37 a.m.
EMT 2 sighs and stops trying to revive Silvia. But Silvia comes back to life, coughing harshly, out of it. Voices murmur around her. Only she can hear them.
What? It gotta be clearer.
Holy shit.
Sylvia wakes further, takes in her surroundings, out of it.
Who's talking?
The EMTs glance at each other, bewildered.
Did you take any drugs? Drink any alcohol?
You can't hear them?
Sylvia's losing consciousness again. The EMT man grips Sylvia's shoulder.
Stay with us, kid. What did you take? Hey,
She fades into unconsciousness, the ECG beeping steadily. Interior Animal Hospital back room, Wicker Park, night. Another ECG beeps steadily, but much faster. This one belongs to an anesthetized cat on a surgery table in a well-off 24-hour animal hospital. The digital clock on the wall shows 1 o'clock a.m. A vet tech, Toby Solis, 25, Latino, big and bulky but awkward about it, like he should be smaller, holds the cat's guts while the vet, Elena, 51, manic with exhaustion, removes an intestinal abscess further in. Another vet tech, Abigail, 27, in fresh scrubs and a lab coat, walks in. Elena doesn't even look up.
Oh, good. Abigail, take over from Toby. He's got way too much OT.
Thanks.
Abigail puts on her gloves. Toby hands her the cat guts. Interior Animal Hospital, employee lockers, night. Around the corner from the surgery room, Toby, having changed into regular civilian clothes now, stops in front of the medicine cabinets, stifles a yawn. A dog in the kennels whines. Unable to resist, Toby pets it through the metal bars, then forces himself to stare at the medicine cabinets once more. Resigned to the action, Toby unlocks the cabinets with a key and pockets a small box. Interior, exterior, blue line train, night. Toby rides the elevated L train toward the downtown lights. Interior, Washington, Dearborn CTA station, downtown, night. Subway portion of the CTA. Toby walks toward the end of the corridor of the station until he reaches interior underground tunnel, night. An underground tunnel with tan brick walls. A plaque over revolving doors reads the Richard J. Daley Center. A compass-like logo on a sign reads City of Chicago on top and Pedway System entrance on the bottom. The Pedway is a real system of walkways in Chicago, a bit of a maze. No one's around and the doors are locked. Toby places his palm on the logo. The compass glows. The double doors open. Interior Pedway, night. Barren and sparsely lit. It's almost post-apocalyptic in appearance. Toby passes a closed barbershop and Starbucks. Interior Pedway tunnel, night. A non-commercialized Pedway tunnel. A door reads authorized personnel only. Toby enters as another man walks out. Interior Pedway marketplace doorway, night. Looks like a janitor's closet, except there's a doorway spray painted on the wall. As Toby brings his hand up to the handle, it morphs into a real one, and he opens the door. Stairs, old limestone, dating back to the 1800s, lead downward. As Toby descends and closes the door behind him, it morphs back into the spray-painted graffiti. Interior marketplace tunnels, night. Another series of tunnels, but these date back to the raising of Chicago, labyrinthine. Water creeps in at the edges of the limestone floor. The place would be creepy, but surprisingly well lit. Sunlight lines the enchanted ceiling. The remains of market stalls line the wide tunnel, ranging from simple plastic tables to actual rooms. Scattered through the tunnel, vendors with wares such as jewelry and trinkets, booksellers with old tomes, gun dealers with closed cases, exotic plant and animal dealers, and drug dealers with scales to weigh their product. Many of the vendors are closing up shop, and only a few customers walk around observing the goods. A suspiciously pale man purchases a bag of blood from a lady with a table full of bones. A pretty girl at a table full of religious items stares him down as she buys a giant cross. The pale man rolls his eyes at her. Toby approaches a man who's packing away marijuana into a backpack that's been enchanted to hold more than it should. This is Kunal, 33, Indian, weird mix of goth and hippie.
Hey, Toby, what you got for me?
Toby hesitantly hands over the box from the vet clinic.
Nice. Hey, what's your talent?
Toby nods dubiously as Kunal hands Toby a few bills.
Dream walking. Nothing special.
Oh, I don't know about that. Seems like half of us here were born with fire in our blood.
Kunal snaps his fingers, creating a flicker of flame.
And that's all well and good, but I know a few guys who could use some serious nightmares, if you catch my meaning.
Find someone else.
Fair enough.
Toby turns around to leave, then doubles back.
Why's everyone packing up?
You really are out of the loop, huh?
Toby shrugs. Kunal gestures him close.
The Reaper just died.
Jesus.
Your sister's a sinker, right? She could be next.
No way. Chances are 1 in a million.
Toby's phone, one of the cheaper smartphones, rings. He checks it, confused. Doesn't recognize the number.
Hello?
Is this Toby Solis? This is Rush University Medical Center.
Yes. Yes.
Toby hurries back the way he came without so much as a goodbye to Canal. Canal looks after him, perplexed, then continues packing up his table. Interior ICU room, night. Silvia lies in a hospital bed, awake and grumpy. The voices surround her. Pauline and two of their friends, Christy, 18, and EJ, 19, wait by her bed, not hearing them.
Holy crap, we thought you were dead.
I'm Jesus, obviously.
Your sense of humor disturbs me.
Seriously, you had a damn seizure. The bouncer did CPR on you until the ambulance showed up and you just lied there like...
Yeah, the doc told me it was the E, wild side effects, huh?
The three other girls exchange a look.
We've been totally fine. It wore off me for a couple hours ago.
Same, and I did way more than you.
Pauline nods along. The voices get a little louder as Silvia pays attention to them. The other girls don't hear them. Silvia shifts uncomfortably, trying to maintain her composure. The girls watch her with concern.
Oh, that's... well...
A nurse holds the curtain open for Toby to step inside. Silvia sits up, overjoyed, while Toby goes in for a relieved hug. The voices fade a little in Silvia's distraction.
Toby!
Christ, you crazy kid.
They hug. The girls exchange glances.
We'll see you soon, Silvia. Feel better.
They leave while Toby and Silvia pull apart. The voices fade into the background, almost imperceptible. Toby's mood shifts, and he cuffs her on the back of the head.
Ecstasy? What the hell?
Can we not do this now? It's like 3 in the morning.
Toby points at a plastic clock on the wall that reads 1:47.
It's 1:47 and you almost died from overdosing, dumbass.
Sylvia leans back with a playful grin.
Almost? Please, I 100% died and came back to life like a zombie. I've probably already infected you. Soon we'll be prowling the streets for brains.
Zombies aren't real.
Okay, maybe I'm a vampire then.
She's unwittingly struck a chord.
Vampires and zombies aren't real.
A girl can dream.
Toby sits down in the guest chair, mood shifting.
You really freaked me out, Silvia.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't think anything would happen. I didn't take that much. I kept an eye on my drink. I didn't even feel... It was like something hit me from out of nowhere, and I...
Sylvia takes on a haunted expression. The whispering voices surge. Sylvia drops her face in her hands. Toby's alarmed by this, for more reasons than one.
Sylvia, you okay? Hey.
The whispering fades into the background as Sylvia focuses on Toby. Slightly manic, Sylvia tries to pretend everything's normal, both for Toby's and her own sake. She kneads her palms.
Sorry, yeah. It's the E. It should wear off soon. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Drugs are bad. Lesson learned. Won't do it again.
Maybe we should talk about rehab.
I'm not an addict. This was a one-time thing. An accident.
Look, freshman year can be hard, especially after everything you've been through. Trust me, I know.
No, you don't. You were only in the system for a year. You don't know.
Toby looks like he wants to argue, but a glance at the clock brings exhaustion. Closing himself off emotionally, he peels himself out of the chair, stretching.
Fine. I have work in a few hours. I'll visit again after my shift.
Sylvia catches his hand before he leaves and draws him close, hugs him around the stomach.
Sorry.
Toby softens and brushes his fingertips through her hair before pulling away and leaving. Subdued, she stares after him as he leaves. It's just her and the voices now. Interior hospital lobby, night. Toby speaks with an assistant, Bill, at the front desk.
And insurance only covers part of the ambulance?
You'll have to speak with your provider about that.
Bill hands a weary Toby a clipboard with paperwork. Interior Neil's penthouse, Gold Coast, night. Neil's fancy penthouse. St. Bridget's cross hangs in the doorway. Vines have embedded themselves in the ceiling. Neil, Orville, and 3 other mobsters sit in the living room.
Knew from the moment the talent passed to him that he'd die young. He did pretty well, if you ask me.
Lee, 62, functioning alcoholic, pulls a flask out of his jacket, takes a swig, hands the flask to Orville, but Orville shakes his head no, much to Lee's disgust.
Puritan.
Brienne, 47, stoic and worn out, gestures for the flask. Lee hands it over and she chugs, passes it to Neil, who only takes a small sip, despondent. Alan, 44, a sly troublemaker, eyes Neil.
How are you holding up?
Could be better.
Maybe you should take a vacation.
And leave you to handle the details?
Me? Of course not. Orville. Oh, don't start.
No, now is as good a time as ever. What'll it be, Orville? Ready to take on my father's mantle?
Neil stares at Orville, mocking. Orville's bewildered.
I think we should let the dead rest before we go around making changes.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? But we lost the Reaper, and the whole magical community knows it. They'll think we're weak. We need to take action against the Pierces as soon as possible.
But we didn't even know if it really was the Pierces. You didn't see the attacker, and Uncle Victor had plenty of enemies. We should see what talent Reg found.
No one else knew our whereabouts like the Pierces did. We were in their territory.
Then why didn't they just kill us at the meeting? Why wait?
So this would happen, so they can claim innocence.
I hear they're trying to establish their own marketplace.
Maybe it's time we put an end to that idea.
Look, I know we're all angry, but we have to stay rational. We don't only look weak without the Reaper, we are weak without him. So let's stabilize ourselves first, before we run around starting wars.
You have a point. Brienne, start looking for the next Reaper.
They could be anywhere in the world. Yeah, not necessarily. When Australia's passed away, her successor was reborn a street over. It might be worth looking into.
I thought you didn't want us to take action.
I want what's best for the family, as we all do.
Beat.
I'll put out some feelers.
Brienne stands up to leave. Interior, ICU, morning. The murmuring voices fill the room. Bill, the assistant, speaks to Silvia, but Silvia struggles to focus on his muffled words until finally she hears...
Terribly sorry about this, Miss Solis. If you'd like to call your insurance to argue your case.
It's fine. I feel great, really.
Sylvia gets up, grabs her clothes from the cupboard. Her hands shake, which Bill notices with concern.
But if you're experiencing new symptoms...
It's been a rough night, that's all.
All right, stay well.
Bill leaves, closing the curtain behind her. Finally alone, Sylvia drops all bravado. Without it, she looks vulnerable and depressed, lost and aimless. She stares at her shaking hands, and the voices grow clearer.
I never meant to hurt him.
She covers her ears, but the voices continue.
Shouldn't be in the tunnels.
Stop it.
Long time coming.
The voices get louder, almost all distressed. Losing it, Sylvia lurches off the bed and changes out of the hospital gown and into her regular clothes.
Wait, please.
Shut up.
You're my son.
The final straw. Halfway into her shoes, Sylvia slams her fist into the cupboard that held her clothes with a thunk. Excess energy gone, she deflates, leans against the cupboard and takes deep breaths, calming herself. The calmer she gets, the more the voices fade. As Sylvia realizes the correlation, the voices taper off to a low murmur and stay there. Perplexed but happy about the reprieve, Sylvia takes another fortifying breath and finishes putting on her shoes. She squares her shoulders, forcing herself to remain calm, and strolls out of the room like everything's perfectly normal. End Act 1. Act 2. Exterior Hyde Park morning. By the telephone pole that fell down in the teaser. Zoe Gleason, 32, butch, analytical, with a prosthetic eye that makes her gaze a little off, wears a federal wildlife officer uniform, complete with gun and badge. She crouches down to examine the point where the pole cracked at the base, as if it was struck by lightning. Sigils have been carved at the breaking point. Zoe snaps a picture of them. Exterior alley, Hyde Park, morning. Police tape blocks off the alley. Detective Canning, 50s, on the phone, presides over the scene. Victor and the driver's bodies still lie in the seat of the Buick. Several bystanders peer over the tape, trying to get a glimpse of the bodies. Zoe passes one, Robin Pierce, Victor's counterpart from the teaser. She and Zoe make eye contact, recognizing each other but not saying anything. Zoe crosses the police tape, taking it all in. Canning hangs up as he spots her, and they meet in the middle. Zoe shows him her federal wildlife officer badge.
Just got off the phone with your boss. I've met EVERHART before. Never saw any hint of ivory smuggling in his background.
He was good at hiding it. Thank you for your cooperation, Detective Canning.
Not one for chit-chat, Zoe pulls gloves on and heads right over to the car, peers around at the body, the floor, checks under the car. On its underside, an intricate circle carved into it with sigils. Zoe crawls under enough to snap a picture. Comes back out from under the car and picks up a bullet shell on the back seat. Notices a sigil carved onto it. Exterior, West Harrison Street, day. Sylvia walks down the street away from Rush University Medical Center and towards the University of Illinois at Chicago, a lush campus full of autumn-leafed trees and brick buildings. It's literally 2 blocks away from Rush. The voices murmur in the background.
What the hell? What the hell?
A college guy passes by, watching her oddly. She doesn't notice. Interior dorm room, day. 2 college girls' dorm room. One side organized, full of books and posters of cities around the world. The other side messy, covered with rock and pop band and fantasy story posters. The messy side's noticeably cheaper than the other. Laundry strewn about on the messy side, and an empty pizza box sits out with a sticky note that reads in perfect handwriting, "Gross! Please throw out." Sylvia sits at her desk on the messy side, researching on her old, refurbished laptop. Begin montage. She plugs in the search bar, ecstasy hallucinations. Results show it to be a common symptom. She searches schizophrenia. Results show the average age of onset is between 18 and 25. She searches near-death experiences, hallucinations. The results turn into a debate on whether or not heaven is real. She clicks off the search in frustration. A pause. Then she searches, how long can brain survive after death? And gets results saying full recovery after more than 3 minutes of death is rare, and fatally injured by 10 minutes at normal body temperature. End montage. Silvia stares at her reflection in the laptop screen. She should be dead. The voices surge. A key in the lock of the dorm room, snapping her to attention. Pauline, her friend from the teaser, walks in, shocked to see her. The voice is quiet as Silvia focuses on Pauline.
Sylvia, why aren't you still in the hospital?
I wasn't legit sick, so they let me leave.
But you still died.
Yeah, well, shit happens, I guess.
Sylvia shrugs and grins weakly. Pauline's perplexed.
You've been handling this really well. Do you want to talk about it?
No.
But, I mean, you've got to be pretty freaked out, right?
Sylvia nods, annoyed, and turns to her laptop. Clicks around aimlessly. The voice is a dull hum in the background.
Seriously, I'm here for you.
Pauline reaches out for her. Sylvia shrugs her off.
Fine, you got me. After years of playing the bad girl, I now see life in a new light. Sunshine and the laughter of children everywhere. I'm ready to take advantage of my second chance. In fact, I found Jesus, and I'm going to write a bestseller book about it. Lifetime, here I come. That work for you?
Jeez, tone it down. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
I told you I was in foster care, Pauline. I've seen some shit, so this is not as big a deal for me as you think. Can we move on, please?
Pauline turns toward her desk, rearranging papers and books.
Sorry.
No. God, you don't have to apologize. I'm sorry. I feel off. I've got to find out what they cut the E with. I know we took the same pills, but
Maybe you're allergic.
I've taken it before and been fine.
I read online that death could be an outcome. This might be more normal than you think.
That's not it.
Pauline sits down, concerned. Sylvia closes her laptop.
I'm hearing things. Voices. I've never heard them before. This is definitely new.
What are they saying? They're not telling you to hurt yourself, are they?
No! No! They're not even talking to me. I mean, they're obviously not real. I know that. You don't have to worry about me going crazy.
Still, maybe you should go see student counseling.
That's not what Sylvia wants to hear.
Yeah. Maybe.
Pauline seems a little lost. She's not prepared for this.
You better hurry before you're late to lecture.
Oh yeah. Sorry I couldn't help more.
It's fine.
Try not to listen to them, okay?
Pauline leaves the room. Sylvia looks thoughtful. Interior hospital day. Brienne sits in the lobby watching the front desk where two administrators, Alice and Bill, sit. Bill takes a phone call and leaves. Brienne approaches the front desk. She wears a necklace with a gemstone pendant. Twists the chain so that the pendant glints. For a second, her fingers glow around the pendant.
Have you seen my earrings? They match this.
No, but we have... That's really pretty.
Alice's gaze catches on the pendant. She becomes unfocused with enchantment.
Thank you. Can you do me a favor?
Of course.
Were there any unusually close calls last night? I'm looking for someone who would have appeared to have died for no reason and then survived. Check for me.
Alice scrolls through her computer.
We had several instances of cardiac arrest, but they have cause. A Mr. Connolly suffered from a stroke, probably due to cholesterol.
There'd be mild side effects afterward. Hearing voices, seeing things.
There was one girl whose heart stopped for a full 15 minutes who exhibited... Oh, but she overdosed.
The color in the pendant's fading. Alice starts to look at Brienne oddly.
Can you print me a list?
Yeah, one sec.
While Alice prints one out, Bill returns and sits down. Brienne glances at him. Time is running out. Alice hands her the list, but when Brienne tries to take it, she won't let go.
I don't think I should. How?
Thanks.
Brienne tugs the paper away and strides down the hallway.
What was that about?
I don't really remember.
Down the hallway, Brienne yanks off the now clear pendant and throws it in the trash. Exterior cafe garden day. The outdoor garden in the back of a popular fancy cafe. Autumn leaves on the trees. Guests chat, their voices oddly muffled. Neil, Orville, Robin, and her bodyguard sit in a corner, sheltered by a fountain and small trees.
Interesting location.
I'd like to avoid a scene.
So you know there's a cause for one.
I didn't kill Victor, nor did I authorize a hit.
Orville leans past Neil, butting in.
Then do you have any idea who's responsible?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe the person who stands to gain most from his death?
Robin appraises them.
I'd just like to know which one of you it is.
Don't turn this around on us. We gave up one of our own when he betrayed the truce. Now it's your turn.
Robin gestures the server over to refill her cup of coffee. The server does, and Robin carefully pours cream in, stirring slowly before tapping the spoon off on the rim of the mug. Neil glares at her. Orville shoots him a chill-out look.
I'm vetting my people. If I find anyone was involved, they're all yours. But I will not sacrifice one of my own to satisfy your grief. Out of respect for Victor, the truce still stands. Let me know when the funeral is.
That's not good enough.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce.
Orville stands up with a heavy hand on Neil's shoulder. Neil resists, staring at Robin, who stares back, nonplussed.
Would you like to talk about sports, EVERHART? Do you think the Cubs were really cursed?
Neil pushes his chair away from the table with a screech. The bodyguard goes for his gun, but Orville tugs Neil out and away. Neil shakes him off. Interior, exterior, Toby's car, Evanston, day. Toby drives a well-cared-for sedan with a lift sticker on the windshield. As he exits a drive-thru with a giant cup of coffee, he turns on the Lyft app. The phone rings. Toby answers. It's Becca, a woman he's familiar with.
Hey, Becca.
Hey, Toby. FCS has been trying to reach Silvia. Do you have another contact number for her?
Toby's expression falls. He pulls right back into the McDonald's and parks in the lot.
No, can I take a message?
Would it be possible for you both to come into the office this week? I'm aware you've been paying the remaining portion of her tuition.
Is this about her scholarship?
Yes, so it's imperative that we speak soon.
This is about what happened last night.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. Silvia's been missing several of her classes. As one of the Foster Child Success Program scholarship recipients, we know starting in college can be a difficult transition. However,
Yeah, I know the drill. I'll talk to her, okay?
can you set up an appointment now?
Yeah, 1 sec.
Toby puts her on speaker. Interior, Sylvia's dorm room, day. Sylvia sits at her desk, scribbling in a notebook, transcribing the voices. Already on the paper. Please, you're my son. I never meant to hurt him. Shouldn't be in the tunnels. Long time coming. She has several headings on the paper. Torture, death, regret. Several lines connect quotes to multiple headings. She's circled tunnels and son. Sylvia tilts her head, listening. The voices grow louder, intense. Several of them are screams. She shakes her head, uneasy, but writes down screams anyway.
Please just make it stop.
He deserved it.
Shoot me, end me. I don't care anymore.
Don't you touch me, Victor.
Victor.
Sylvia writes these down, circles down, and draws a line between that and tunnels. Underlines Victor and reap. Opens her laptop, does some Googling. Victor death yields nothing useful. But Victor death Chicago leads to headlines. Victor EVERHART murdered, and body of Chicago club owner found in Hyde Park. Sylvia clicks through out of curiosity at first, but she hovers the mouse over the date, around 12:30. On the notebook, she writes, my time of death, 12:37. Glances between the two, shaking her head. She clicks onto YouTube. Exterior, new club, day, YouTube video. Victor, several years younger, stands in front of a club for a local interview.
We're really excited for the opening. We're in a prime location. We have the best DJs. We are...
Interior, Sylvia's dorm room, day. Sylvia exits out of the video.
Get down.
It's the same voice. Disturbed, Sylvia gets up, grabbing her wallet and phone. Exterior, Sylvia's dorm, day. Sylvia exits the dorm and strides across campus. Behind her, from their POV, someone follows her from a distance. Exterior, apartment complex, Cicero, Chicago, day. A shitty apartment complex on a street corner. Neighborhood on one side, train tracks and abandoned industrial site on the other side. Bare bones setup. Toby's car parked curbside. Interior, Toby's apartment, day. A one-bedroom apartment, cheap and cherished, neat, clean. Photos of Sylvia and Toby, Toby and friends, one single frame of Sylvia and Toby and their mother, Veronica Solis, 30s, mischievous, with young Toby, 11, and young Sylvia, 5. Biology books fill a set of shelves. A worn punching bag hangs next to the futon. In the corner sits a decent bird cage with a pair of doves, the most expensive item in the room. Brienne lounges on the futon, flipping through a book. Toby freezes in the doorway at the sight of her.
Finally. I thought I'd have to leave a note.
She gets up and stretches languidly like some sort of femme fatale. Most men would find her sexy. Toby doesn't.
Last time we talked, you were a kid. How's your mother?
Yeah, you tell me.
Brienne shrugs and wanders past the pictures, over to the doves, sticks a finger into the cage. The doves shuffle away. Toby closes the door behind him, doesn't move far from it.
For all her faults, your mother was very talented. We were all surprised when Silvia turned out to be a sinker. An absolute shame, it seemed like.
You haven't approached her, have you?
No, but we might. Talentless child of a powerful witch dies right as the Reaper passes? That's some coincidence.
She overdosed. It had nothing to do with the Reaper.
Brienne turns away from the doves and wanders over to Toby.
You're smarter than your mother. You're honest. I can tell.
My sister is a completely normal girl who has nothing to do with the magical world, and I plan for it to stay that way.
Brienne looks Toby up and down. He's terrified but trying to stay strong. Open book that he is, it shows.
Chin up, kid. If she's as normal as you say, you have nothing to worry about. And if she isn't, well, I'd say you're about to move up in the world.
Brienne brushes past him out the door, shutting it behind her, leaving Toby shaken and panicking. He hurries into his bedroom and pulls out his phone. Interior, exterior, L train, Chicago, day. Silvia rides the train. Her phone rings. Toby, very frazzled. She answers. Intercut between Toby and Silvia.
Hey, bro, what's up?
Don't call me that. Where are you?
Toby opens his closet. There's a small safe in the corner.
On the train? Why?
Where are you headed? We have to meet up.
Toby opens the safe, revealing a handgun.
Okay, what's wrong?
Nothing. Just, go back to school, okay? Hang out with your friends or something.
Toby sticks the handgun in his belt, covers it with his shirt.
You're acting weirder than me.
No, I'm not. The scholarship people called, and we need to talk. In person, immediately.
Right. I'm torn, really. I want to find out why you're acting weird, but I'm also in the middle of something, so I'm going to do that first.
Wait, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, would you look at that? My battery's dying. Text you in an hour, okay? Oh no, there it goes.
Sylvia hangs up. Down the train, from their POV, someone watches her. In his room, Toby's basically tearing his hair out. Exterior, Neil's apartment complex. Downtown, day. A much, much nicer apartment complex. Almost skyscraper territory. A car drops Neil and Orville off. Stormy silence between them. They head into the lobby. Interior, lobby, day. Neil tries to outwalk Orville, but Orville's glued to his shoulders, speaking in a hushed voice.
The hell you were thinking? We needed diplomacy, not bullheaded.
Family squabble later. Murder investigation now.
Zoe leans against the wall by the elevators, holding up a bullet shell.
Recognize this?
Orville and Neil wear equal looks of surprise. Exterior, alley, Hyde Park, day. Sylvia steps over the police tape into the now empty alley that Victor died in. It's still blocked off by police tape, but it's been cleared out. Sylvia walks through, sees nothing of interest. The voices are loud, though. At the other end of the alley, Sylvia peers down the street and gets a glimpse of more police tape. Exterior, Hyde Park, day. Sylvia stares at the telephone pole that fell over in the teaser, examines the sigils on it. A flicker out of the corner of her eye, the person following her, ducking around the next street corner. Sylvia walks cautiously over to that street corner, peers down the block. A few pedestrians go about their business. No one suspicious. Sylvia looks back at this telephone pole. What the hell is going on? End Act 2. Act 3. Interior, pedway, day. Sylvia walks through the pedway, gaze flicking everywhere, not really knowing what she's looking for. It's crowded right now, end of the workday. Businessmen and women walk by, along with some shoppers. The voice is a low murmur in her head.
Shouldn't be in the tunnels.
While someone follows from a distance. Begin montage. Sylvia walks through Millennium Station. Looks cool, but nothing out of the ordinary. In the Macy's basement, with stained glass displays, Sylvia double takes at the glass depicting intricate loops. Sylvia glances between the picture of the sigils on her phone and compares them to the stained glass. Sylvia snaps a picture. She passes right by the authorized personnel-only door, which Toby used to enter the marketplace tunnels. She crosses the sky bridge over Wacker. Thompson Center Food Court, a great round room. Frustrated from the lack of anything useful, Sylvia walks through the middle of the room. Her tail watches from further down the hallway she came. Hair on the back of her neck rising, she stops and looks back in their direction. Just passers-by. Beat. She turns away. End montage. Sylvia sits at a table in the food court, eating a burger and people watching. The crowd thins with time. The restaurant stops serving food. Sylvia's gaze catches on a willowy woman with a sigil tattoo on her arm. She watches the woman cross the room. She gets up and follows. Behind her, Jim, 28, lean and ambitious, gets up and follows her. Silvia tails the woman through several tunnels, but when she turns a corner, the woman's gone. It's the tunnel with the authorized personnel only door. Not much else there, so Silvia peeks through the little window of the door. It's just the janitor's closet that Toby walked into. Not a person in sight. The painted door is there, but too faint to see without opening the door to allow light in. Silvia looks around through the thinning passers-by, then hurries further down the tunnel, still seeking the woman. Interior, Pedway, Chase Tower, night. The section of the Pedway owned and run by Chase Tower. Fancy, an urban market. But it's empty except for staff cleaning up after the workday. A metal grate lowers to block off the urban market from the Pedway. A janitor spots Silvia.
Hey, wait, I need to...
We're closed, kid.
Damn it. Did you see a lady go through here a minute ago? Long dress, gross hair, killer tattoos.
What, are you stalking her?
No, she's my aunt.
Sylvia's a good liar when she wants to be.
Nah, sorry.
The janitor goes about his business, leaving Silvia floundering. She turns back the way she came, defeated. Around the corner, Jim listens in to her conversation. There's no one around in this portion of the Pedway, and there's nowhere for Jim to hide as Sylvia's footsteps approach him. He clutches a pendant similar to the one Brienne had and turns invisible. Sylvia rounds the corner and passes him. When she rounds the next corner, Jim turns visible once more. The color of the pendant's gemstone has faded slightly. He sees with concern. He follows after Sylvia. Interior, Neil's penthouse, night. Zoe digs through Neil's kitchen drawers while he watches, arms crossed. Orville sits on the couch, flipping a coin over his knuckles. Drawers around the living room are also open. Zoe's been searching, albeit not that violently.
I think we need to incorporate warrants into our system.
If you could even call it that.
Zoe turns on him, holding a sigil-covered stirring spoon.
Enchanted item within city limits without special permission. That's a $1,000 fine, EVERHART.
You're looking for a murder weapon, not a trinket. All that thing does is detect poison.
Zoe pockets the spoon and shifts, growing serious.
I gotta be straight with you.
Orville snorts.
Yeah, I've clocked you in Boys Town too. Don't think I haven't.
Orville stops flipping the coin.
There was a curse carved onto the skid plate of Victor's car. That's how they got control of it from you. Now, that had to be created in advance, so I'm inclined to believe that this was an inside job.
Not possible. Victor was loved and respected. None of ours would have touched him. It could have been done while the car was parked during our talk.
This troubles Orville.
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, I'd like a list of people who had access to the car within the last month.
We don't remember, and we don't have any records, do we?
Orville shakes his head.
This is an important investigation. The Reaper wasn't just your head of family. He was a worldwide figure in our community. You cannot impede this investigation.
As soon as we find out who did it, you'll know.
Yeah, because I'll be fishing a body out of the lake.
That would be far too kind.
Look, now is the time for you to mourn, not run around exacting justice.
I am mourning. My father died, Gleason. I'm not going to sit back and take it without a fight.
I know it doesn't seem like it, but you have my condolences. I'll show myself out.
She steps out, leaving silence behind her. Orville flips the coin over his knuckles once, then stares at it. There's a quiet intensity about him. For all his talk of peace, he's dangerous too.
Did you kill him?
Beat.
No, Orville. We had our disagreements, but I would never.
They lock eyes.
Aren't you going to ask me?
I know you wouldn't.
Neil looks away, and Orville stands up, uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
Tugging on his jacket, Orville stands up to leave. Exterior, UIC campus, night. Silvia trudges back to her dorm. Voice is still with her. Toby's sitting on a bench nearby. He clears his throat, making Silvia jump.
What the hell? Toby? Oh, shit, I never texted.
Where were you?
Okay, chill out, helicopter mom.
I'm worried.
Sylvia grins despite herself and sits on the table.
You're always worried.
You weren't buying more drugs, were you?
No, and I didn't mean to be out so long. The Pedway is the most convoluted thing in existence. What?
Toby searches for the right words to say, then spots something over Sylvia's shoulder. Jim, strolling into a building with a sight line to Sylvia. Sylvia follows his gaze, sees Jim, doesn't know what to think of it.
Let's get takeout.
Tell me what's going on.
I will, in private, okay?
If you insist.
Sylvia hops off the table. Interior marketplace tunnels, night. Zoe rounds a corner and approaches the marketplace from the opposite direction of the Pedway entrance. Keeps her head down, but as soon as some patrons notice her, they start packing up. One patron approaches an EVERHART guard and points at Zoe. The guard does something with his hands. The light lining the ceiling flashes, and everyone scatters through the different tunnels. Zoe grabs a vendor packing up a table stacked with questionable protective cases. This is Raina, 43, a modern businesswoman who likes explosives, who watches Zoe warily. Zoe slides the bullet casing across the table.
Tell me who made this, and I don't press charges for enchanted arm stealing.
Raina smiles thinly and picks up the bullet, eyeballs it under her cell phone's LED light.
Looks like one of Marvin's. He's not here anymore, though.
Where is he? I won't charge you for enchanted items within city limits either.
There's a new marketplace around Washington Park, I hear. Fancy setup and cheaper rates to boot.
Tell me more.
Raina seems reluctant. Zoe pulls out a $50 bill. Interior, Neil's penthouse, night. Neil paces, thinking, dials a number.
Pierce didn't budge. I have a job for you.
Interior, Toby's apartment, night. Toby and Silvia sit at a rickety table in the kitchenette, eating Chinese food. Voices in Silvia's head, a low murmur.
I think we should go on a road trip.
What?
Yeah, we've never gone on a vacation before. Time to make up for that.
You don't believe in vacations.
Not true. I've always wanted to see the coast, swim in a real ocean.
You, academic thorn in my side, want me to ditch college less than a month into the semester? Explain.
Uh-huh. Okay. Has anything strange happened to you since you OD'd?
I'm not hooked on drugs. Jesus Christ, you're still on me about that?
No, okay. Remember how Mom was involved in some stuff? They're interested in you.
Any playfulness in Silvia's demeanor falls away. There's a serious edge to her, calculating.
And they approached you. Did they hurt you?
No, we only talked.
And
I'm hoping they'll leave you alone soon. See that you're normal, but for now, let's stick together, okay?
And the playfulness is back.
aw, don't worry, Toby. I'll protect you.
Toby shoves her. When he turns back to his food, Sylvia's expression turns cold. Exterior, Washington Park, South Side, night. 300 plus acres of nature, right in the city. Homeless people sleep on benches. 5 or so teenage gangsters, non-magical, street gang, socialize in a group, laughing. Zoe strides past it all into the park. Exterior, lake, Washington Park, night. A willow tree stands next to a lake. Zoe walks up to it and parts the curtain of leaves. Its trunk is riddled with sigils. Exterior, old-growth forest, night. Zoe steps through another willow's leaves into a pocket of old-growth forest. Massive trees from before settlers arrived. And scattered amongst them, vendors with tables. Not as many as the marketplace, but they're getting there. Zoe spots one, Marvin, 57, reedy, with a table full of gun-sized cases. Makes a beeline for him. Marvin spots her.
Don't. Damn it.
Marvin runs. Zoe sprints after him. Exterior, Washington Park, South Side, night. Lee and 2 EVERHART boys, early 20s, unruly, drive up in a fancy convertible and double park it on the side. The teenage gangsters eye it. Are these people crazy? The EVERHARTs get out. Lee walks over to the teenage gangsters, tosses a roll of $100 bills to one.
No one touches the car by the time we get back, and I got another one for you.
The 3 EVERHARTs stroll into the park. Interior, Toby's apartment, night. Lights off. Toby's in his bedroom, door closed. Sylvia lies on the couch with a pillow and blankets trying to sleep. Voices louder without anything to distract her. Nearby, a train whistles and rattles down the tracks. Ambulance sirens further away. The voices in Sylvia's head loud once more. Restless, Sylvia rolls off the couch and looks around the room. Eyes drawn to the photo of her, Toby, and their mother. Picks it up, sets it down, resentful. She wanders over to the window. Her footsteps quiet. She's got experience sneaking around. The blinds are drawn. Sylvia peeks through the blinds, through the window. Interior, exterior, Jim's car, Cicero, night. Jim sits in a parked sedan, bored out of his mind. Interior, Toby's apartment, night. Sylvia sees him, the gears in her head spinning. Goes to a cabinet in the kitchenette and pulls out a bleach spray bottle. From a shelf near the punching bag, she grabs Toby's hand wraps. Exterior, Toby's apartment complex, night. Sylvia strolls out of the apartment and around the corner, away from Jim and toward the abandoned industrial lot. Hands in her jacket pockets. Past the lot, a freight train goes by, barely visible, a slow-moving silhouette in the night. Interior, exterior, Jim's car, Cicero, night. Jim sees her turn the corner and leave his sightline, hurries out of his car. Exterior, old-growth forest, night. Zoe chases Marvin past several vendors and tackles him into an alchemist's table full of questionable substances. A glass container shatters all over Zoe, an oily substance getting in her good eye.
Damn it, Marvin.
She wipes the substance away. So far, it's fine.
Police, is that you? I had no
The willow's leaves catch fire. Everyone stares at it, confused. Zoe's annoyed at being interrupted, then horrified. Exterior, Lake, Washington Park, night. Fire spreads up the willow's leaves from Lee's hand. One of the boys also spreads fire up the other side of the tree. The other boy uses a knife to chip away at the sigils. Exterior, old-growth forest, night. The fire spreads. Everyone's confusion turns into horror.
Everybody out!
Panicking vendors gather their most valuable items and run for the willow. Exterior, Cicero, night. Sylvia pushes aside a loose board of the fence and enters into the abandoned industrial site. Jim rounds the corner just in time to see the board swing back into place. Exterior, abandoned factory, night. Jim steps into the lot of the abandoned factory. It's a result of the rust belt. Windows either knocked out or gray and cracked with age. Old letters peeling off the wall, a picture of urban decay. Ahead of him, Sylvia enters the factory through a pair of double doors. One of them hangs off its hinges. Jim looks at the building apprehensively. The caboose of the long freight train rattles past toward the downtown lights. Jim's not an idiot. Doesn't trust Sylvia or this place. Closes his fist around his pendant and turns invisible. Interior, abandoned factory, night. A beam of moonlight shines down through a hole in the buckling roof. Bare framework, scattered debris and broken beer bottles. A layer of dust. Sylvia lies in wait by the door, bleach spray bottle at the ready, hands wrapped boxing style. Scared but thinks she's prepared. Voice as present as ever. The door hanging off its hinges creaks open. No one in sight. Jim's POV. He steps into the warehouse, sees Sylvia, kind of impressed, kind of amused, a little creeped out. Sylvia's POV. Also creeped out. Sylvia eyes the doorway and its surroundings, not seeing Jim. Jim's POV. Jim follows her gaze as it drops to his feet. Sylvia's POV. No one's there, except for Jim's footprints in the dust. Sylvia stifles a scream and kicks up between the footprints, nails him in the balls.
Shit!
Jim doubles over, letting go of the pendant and turning visible as he grabs his groin.
What the fuck?
God damn it!
Jim fumbles for the gun in his waistband. Sylvia spots it. Her shock turns to fury.
Son of a...
She sprays him in the face with bleach. As he falls back into the doorframe, clawing at his eyes, she drops the bleach in favor of grabbing the gun from him. She aims at him, pulls back the hammer with a click. Jim freezes, groaning in pain.
Who the fuck are you?
Jim stays silent, regaining his composure, squinting at her, eyes inflamed from the bleach.
Answer the question or I'll shoot.
You don't know how.
My third set of foster parents were conservative Republicans.
She aims at his knee.
Hey, hold on. Oh, okay, I'm Jim.
Sylvia aims back at his chest.
And you're what? A witch?
Jim grins.
What?
While she's processing this, the gun lowers. Jim barrels into her. They topple to the floor. They grapple, Jim disadvantaged by the bleach. The gun gets tossed away. Jim gets a punch in. Sylvia returns an elbow. She manages to get to her feet and kick him while he's down.
Look, I don't care what you are. You and yours got problems with me. You talk to me. Leave my brother the hell out of it.
She kicks him again for emphasis.
Damn bitch!
While Jim wheezes, clutching at his stomach, Sylvia walks over to the gun and picks it up. Voice is still at it, quiet in her distraction. She grins, wiping blood off her split lip. She's got a lot of pent-up rage, and she's loving this.
Now, let's talk about magic.
She turns back around to aim the gun at him, but he's disappeared.
Shit.
New footsteps appear in the dust, but the dust isn't everywhere, making it difficult for her to keep track of Jim. She empties the cartridge and kicks the bullets away, throws the gun the opposite direction and settles into a boxing stance, tries to track Jim's movements. Can't. She bolts for the door. Halfway there and Jim tackles her, turning visible once more. Sylvia goes down hard, head banging against the floor. The world spins as Jim chokes her. Ice creeps up her throat. His magic. She grips his wrists, terrified, trying to pull them away. Wheezes.
Can't stalk me if you kill me.
Like I'm gonna let you get away with ambushing me.
His grip tightens. Sylvia tries and fails to tug his hands away, looks around her. Nothing's in reach. Her expression turns desperate. The voice is crescendoing. The ice goes up her nose and nears her eyes. She's going to die. Her hands glow, fingertips digging into Jim's skin. Responding light glows in Jim's veins, his eyes flowing into Sylvia. Jim grunts in pain, eyes wide with horror. The light in Jim's eyes fades.
No, please.
Sylvia's confused, shocked, but she realizes she's hurting him. The voices grow louder as the light flows faster. He trembles, paralyzed, grip on Sylvia's neck going slack. The last of the light fades out of his eyes and body, and he slumps over, dead. The voices stop. Silence. Sylvia lies there, stunned under a dead man's corpse. End Act 3. Act 4. Exterior old-growth forest, night. Zoe shoves through the crowd of vendors rushing for the burning curtain of willow leaves. Several vendors form water out of the air and try to put out the fire. It's not enough. Zoe reaches the curtain. Exterior lake, Washington Park, night. Zoe bursts through the flaming willow's leaves. 7 or so frantic vendors in front of her see her and take off. Zoe scans the area, sees the backs of Lee and the 2 EVERHART boys ahead of the vendors.
Stop!
They don't. Zoe pulls her gun out of its holster, spins a dial on it from a bullet icon to a moon icon, takes aim at Lee's back, fires. A tranq dart hits him in the back. As Lee sways and goes down, Zoe takes aim at one of the boys, but they disappear through some trees. The willow burns behind her, fire spreading to other trees, approaching sirens. Exterior, abandoned factory, night. A train whistles, people shout at each other in the distance. Interior, abandoned factory, night. There's an air of silence inside the factory itself. Silvia still lies there under Jim's corpse, processing what's happened, what she's done. She raises her hands, stares at them, turns them over. They seem perfectly normal. She turns her gaze to Jim's head, shock turning into horror. Heaves the body off and scrambles away from it. Interior, Toby's bedroom, night. Toby sleeps, exhausted even in his rest. A shadow looms over him, reaches out for his shoulder. Toby bolts upright, grabbing his gun from under his pillow, and relaxes, rubbing his head. It's Silvia.
Silvia, Jesus. Knock next time, will you?
Silvia swallows, can't bring herself to speak.
What's wrong?
Toby, I did something.
Toby takes this in. Interior, abandoned factory, night. Numb, Toby stares down at the body, Silvia behind him.
I swear I didn't mean to. I was gonna rough him up a bit. I wasn't gonna kill him. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened. Toby,
This is my fault.
What?
Magic is real. Mom had it, I have it too. I should have told you.
Silvia shakes her head, unable to accept this. Her world's just flipped on its head.
Why didn't you?
Because I know you. It's a dangerous world, Silvia, and you were just a sinker. You didn't have magic.
Didn't.
As he talks, Toby pats the body down, finds a cell phone.
Everyone with magic has a special talent. Some people control flames, others project their thoughts. Some talents are rarer than others. Like the ability to destroy souls, reaping. There are only 3 reapers in the world. When the one in America died, you were reborn.
Victor Everhart.
Toby looks at her sharply.
I did my research.
Smart kid.
Toby takes the SIM card out, snaps it. The truth sinks in for Silvia.
Why didn't you tell me any of this sooner?
Why didn't you tell me about the voices? Every reaper hears echoes of the dead initially. That's a pretty big thing not to share.
Silvia turns away, pacing.
Don't try to guilt trip me about honesty.
And just as quickly, she rounds on Toby.
If I had known about magic in the first place, none of this would have happened. I wouldn't have let him go. Or, you know what? Maybe I wouldn't have gone after him at all. Maybe I wouldn't have thought I had fucking schizophrenia. Maybe if you had told me the truth, I wouldn't be a murderer.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're sorry. I feel so much better. I just killed someone, Toby. I killed someone.
I know. We have to hide the body.
You, Saint Toby, you're gonna hide a body with me.
St. Toby has been lying to you for all your life.
Sylvia steps back. It's like Toby's turned into a stranger.
Check outside for cameras. We've got to take a trip.
Sylvia leaves, giving Toby a much-needed emotional breather. Interior, Brienne's workroom, night. A basement room turned into a lab. Gems and crystals in organized, labeled containers. A beaker with a ruby soaking in a murky solution. Brienne sits at the work table, carving a sigil into a crystal. It's an art to her. She glances at her phone on the table, checks the time. 12:48 a.m. She dials a number, not pleased. The phone rings and goes to voicemail. No name given. Dials another number. Interior sports bar, night. Orville's lining up a shot at the pool table. No sign of magic about, his guard down. His phone buzzes. He answers.
Yes.
One of my guys missed check-in. He was tailing the soulless girl.
Orville sets down his pool cue. Interior, interrogation room, night. Standard police interrogation room, except this one has a circle carved into the floor, full of sigils. Probably looks a bit like a demon summoning circle. In the circle, Lee sits in a chair, and across the table from him, an angry officer in a fish and wildlife uniform. Interior Talent Regulations Office, night. Essentially a police department, but covered with plants. 2 amiable officers haul in a pothead and a goat. The annoyed, suspiciously pale man from the marketplace sits across from an overworked officer at his desk, photos of bodies with fang marks on the table between them. Zoe watches Lee's interrogation. Dominique, 50s, seen it all. The woman who Orville spoke to on the phone back in Act 1, comes up beside Zoe.
He's not going to say anything. Then we block his magic and toss him in a cell and make an example of him. An example ain't going to be enough. The Pierces won't let this go. We have to stop them somehow. We won't be able to blame everything on the Sinker Street gangs for much longer.
Zoe shrugs, despondent, rubs out her good eye.
Your eye okay? Yeah, just itchy. Go home, get some rest. Tomorrow's gonna be another long day.
Zoe nods. As she walks out, she passes Neil coming in. He gives her a nod. Exterior, Cicero, night. Silvia parks Toby's car next to the curb by the fence with the crooked board. Pops the trunk. Scuttles out of the car to the fence. She helps Toby load the body, rolled up in a sheet, into the trunk. Then hands the car keys to Toby. Interior, exterior, Toby's car, Cicero, night. As Toby pulls away, he makes a call. Interior, Kunal's bedroom, night. A suburban home. In bed with his wife, Kunal answers his phone quietly.
Hello?
Intercut between Toby and Kunal.
It's Solace. I need to borrow your boat.
Right now?
I owe you big time. I'll clear out the meds, get you money, dream walk for you, whatever.
Not bad, huh? What? Did you kill someone? Jeez. Yeah, okay. I'll meet you there.
Kunal hangs up and gets out of bed. His phone rings again. He answers with an anxious glance at his sleeping wife.
What now?
The person on the other end of the line turns his expression serious. Interior, exterior, Toby's car, suburbs, night. Toby and Silvia drive in silence. The doves in their cage coo in the back seat. Beside them, 2 backpacks and a duffel bag, pillows and blankets, a box of canned food. Silvia shoots Toby an accusatory look, but Toby doesn't catch it. Can't seem to look at her.
So do you kill people often?
No, never.
So you just bury bodies then?
No.
Then,
I helped someone out once, a long time ago.
mother.
Toby shifts uncomfortably. Sylvia may hate their mother, but his feelings are mixed.
Do we have to leave? Can't we pretend it never happened? That he just disappeared?
It'll draw too much attention to you. We'll go up to Wisconsin, Minnesota, hide in a stick somewhere.
But what about school? What about your work? And how are we going to pay for any of it? Won't they be able to track us down if we get jobs? Jesus, do we have to get fake identities?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
A reproachful look from Sylvia.
Okay. I'm the Reaper, and that's pretty scary, right? Maybe I can threaten them into leaving us alone?
They want you because you're scary. These are not people you want to confront, Sylvia.
And let me guess, they won't take no for an answer?
They won't.
Beat.
What's your talent?
Dream walking. What it says on the tin.
And we do more? That guy, his necklace turned him invisible.
We can do more as long as we have something to channel our magic through. Rituals, symbols, potions. You have to do the prep work first.
Will you teach me?
I will.
Small smiles from the both of them. Interior is Zoe's bedroom, night. A master bedroom with expensive furniture. Plants everywhere. Vines creep along the walls and ceiling. Adeline, 38, pretty, in pajamas. Sleeps on the king bed. Interior, Zoe's bathroom, night. Attached to the bedroom. Troubled, Zoe stares at the mirror. Vision blurring for a second before it returns to normal. She washes her hands, plugs the sink, and carefully takes out her concave prosthetic eye. Stares in the mirror again. Her vision blurs and returns to normal once more. Zoe doesn't like this one bit. In the mirror behind her, we see Adeline come up behind Zoe, wraps her arms around Zoe. Zoe leans into her.
Your eye okay?
I'm not sure. I got something in it tonight. Thought it was just water, but it's probably nothing. I didn't get to sleep at all last night, so...
Get it checked out tomorrow.
Zoe sighs and washes the prosthetic eye, slips it back into her eye socket, washes hands again, and unplugs the sink.
Zoe? Promise.
She turns around to face Adeline.
Yeah, fine. If I must.
You must.
Adeline smiles and pulls her into a kiss. Exterior boathouse, suburbs, night. Toby's car pulls up to a boathouse on Lake Michigan. Canal stands in front of the walkway leading out to the docks. Toby walks over to Canal, Sylvia on his heels.
Thank you so much, man. I don't know what I'd do without you. It's called the Bandit, right?
Toby tries to take the boat key from Canal, but Canal pulls it away.
I'm really sorry, dude.
What?
Sylvia elbows Toby, making him turn around. Brienne and Orville step in front of Toby's car. Toby steps in front of Sylvia. Toby and Brienne draw guns on each other. Toby's shaking, terrified but stubborn as hell. Sylvia's also terrified, but angry as hell.
You're not even holding that thing right.
Sylvia eyes the shaking gun, silently agrees.
Take the key from Canal, find the boat, and go.
You don't want to do that, kid.
We only want to talk.
Sylvia, go!
Orville appraises Toby, torn between amusement and respect. Sylvia stares between Brienne and Toby. Brienne's cool and collected. Toby's sweating and wild.
Don't do it, Sylvia, please.
Sylvia steps between the two guns. Toby lowers his.
Let's talk.
Brienne lowers her gun, gauging Silvia. Sylvia stares right back at her, chin up. End Act 4, fade to black.